Hey, good afternoon to everybody. Happy Thursday. It's Daryl here. It's not so bright and early. It's 3:30 p.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Yes, if you watch my channel, you know that I'm on usually at 3:30 a.m. So, thus the not it's so early. Anyway, something interesting. This ironic twist of fate has happened to me in the last couple of days, and I thought it would be great to share with you guys. Something happened while I was riding my bike. And then something even more ironic happened about an hour or two later, and it really just it gave me some food for thought, and I want to share with you guys. But then today, something happened, and something else happened, and it kind of ruined what I was going to talk about. Let me fill you in. I went for a bike ride yesterday, as I do every morning. And I just left my complex, and I was on the sidewalk, and I was approaching a large intersection. And I was going to cross. There's 2 lanes of traffic going one way, 2 lanes of traffic going the other way. So it's a very busy intersection. And I didn't press. I usually don't press the walk button. I don't like making people wait. I usually just wait until there's a red light and I can cross. So I go with the traffic across in front of the other traffic waiting. And I go with the traffic across, which is what I was doing today or yesterday. So I was watching at the corner because sometimes people turn, take a right on red, or it's actually a right on green. So I was watching blinkers, the cars coming up behind me, and it looked like everybody was going straight. I just started to proceed to cross the 2 lanes of traffic, and a girl in a green car didn't turn on her blinker, and she was on her cell phone. And she almost took me out. She skidded to a stop right in front of me. And she was all like, and she had her hands up like this. But right at that same moment, there was traffic behind her. There was a van following her too close. And I saw this, and I forgot about me almost being hit. And I was afraid that she was going to get hit. So I turned my head and looked, and I was like, oh no. This was about to turn into a huge fiasco. The truck hitting the van, the van hitting the car, and the car was probably going to hit me if it was hitting behind by the van. She saw me look behind her, like panicking. And she looked, and she just, she's all frazzled, I'm all frazzled, and she just left. And I talk about this because I didn't get angry, and she didn't get angry. I think we were concerned about each other's safety. She was concerned that she didn't hit me. I was concerned that she didn't get hit from behind. And it was a different kind of interaction because a lot of times those interactions end up, we were face to face. I was right at the window of her car because she almost hit me. I was looking right in her window at her. And, a lot of times you start yelling, but there was none of that. Okay. So she went in that direction. I biked up further. I went on my bike ride for about 10 miles, and I decided to stop at the local park. You've probably seen I've done videos there, Muzzy Field, where the Bristol Blues minor league baseball team play. And I decided to stop there and get a little sun. So I pulled up on my bike, and I saw a girl sitting at the pond. There's a pond there, and there's like a amphitheater. And I was laying down in the amphitheater. And it was a younger girl, and it looked like she was writing poetry or something. There was notebooks, and she looked very comfortable all by herself, just staring serenely out at the lake. She had headphones on. I went by her. She looked familiar. And I sat down for a while, got some sun, got back on my bike, and I went by her again. And I went by her again, and our eyes locked. And I was like, oh my God, that's the girl from the car. Could it be her? I wasn't quite sure. And I went up a little further, and then I saw the green car, and I was like, oh my, that was so ironic. We met twice in one day, and it made me think. It made me, right at that instant when I realized it was her, and I think we both made eye contact, but neither one of us said anything. She just looked at me, and she went back. She was kind of singing along with her song and writing in a notebook. She's probably a young girl, probably about 20 years old. And it made me very glad at that moment, because a lot of times when we get into these situations, especially with people in cars, I think when somebody's in a car, you don't really look at them as another person. When you two cars almost get in an accident, people yell at each other. They get frustrated. They'll jump out of the car. But you really don't see that. You don't see. I've been behind a car that cut me off, and I get so angry. Look at the back of that person's head. Have you ever felt that? You start hating the car and hating the back of their head. This person's such an idiot. But this was different. I just realized, she was a person, and the way she was sitting there, and I kind of just seeing her sit there by herself writing poetry, it made me realize that she's just a person, and probably a very nice, thoughtful, intelligent person. And I was really glad that we didn't yell at each other, that we didn't have that moment of anger. And it's so weird because when she looked at me, we made that eye contact, I had the feeling that she was thinking the same thing. Neither one of us said anything, but it was just weird. 2 hours later, ironically, after we met under these bad circumstances where I almost got hit, she almost got hit, and neither one of us got angry. And it was weird. So I wanted to talk to you guys about that, because a lot of times we don't, especially when we're in cars, in our vehicles, we don't look at the other people in their vehicles as actual people just like us, exactly like us. Good people, for the most part, very good people, who we get along, who we have a lot in common with, who we would admire, or share a joke with, or sit down and have a coffee with. And it just made me think. It just made me very grateful that I didn't get angry and just and throw out some F-bombs and watch where you're going, because we were both kind of at fault. She was on her phone. She didn't use her blinker, or her blinker wasn't working. I was crossing. I should have hit the crosswalk. I should have hit the button for the crosswalk. So we could both be to blame, but I'm glad that it worked. And it was just so weird and ironic. And I wanted to talk about that today. But then, before I had a chance to make this video, something else happened today at the same intersection. And it made me less proud of myself, because I did not react. We all have faults. So today, same intersection. I went through the intersection this time, no problems. And I continued on the sidewalk. And I'll probably include a little video. At the end of this video, as a matter of fact, I'll show you, I made a video showing you guys where this sidewalk is. And I see a man approaching me, probably in his 20s, a Hispanic man, young, fit, glasses on, and he's walking. And it's a sidewalk under construction. It's temporary tar. And it just falls off about 2 or 3 feet into a dirt pit. And there's cones and everything. It probably is not made for pedestrians, but everybody has to get by somehow. So I see the man walking at me, and I'm passing on the right side like traffic does, and on the sidewalk there's room for both of us. So I stick to my side. I'm giving him plenty of room. I'm on my bike, and as I move over to the side, I see him move over with me. So maybe he doesn't, sometimes you do that dance where you don't know which way a person's going to go, mind if we dance, that kind of thing. So I moved over further, getting closer to that drop off that just drops down into that pit, the construction pit. And he moves over more again. Now I'm like, oh my God, this guy's intentionally just walking, just taking up the entire sidewalk, not just the entire sidewalk, but intentionally just walking right towards me. For no reason whatsoever. I've never seen this guy in my life. So I stopped. I put my foot down. My foot started sliding. I started sliding like I'm going to fall off the bike and down into the dirt construction area. And he's smiling and walking with his glasses, and he actually brushes my shoulder as he walks by. And this guy's about 6 inches shorter than me. I've got more muscle. I've got about 70 pounds on him. To be honest, I'm pretty sure I could make short work of him. And I didn't handle it as well. I just instantly got so angry. I turned around, and as he was walking away, I asked him if he was effing blind. And he ignored it and kept walking. So I said it louder. Are you effing blind? And then I said, oh, you must be effing deaf too. And finally he had to turn around, because I was pretty much screaming it at this point. And he was just like, he didn't say anything. He just went like that. So I was like, what? Why? I forgot exactly what I said, but you took up the whole sidewalk. You almost knocked me off the sidewalk. What the F? And he just goes and dismisses me and starts walking away. I threw out a few more bombs, called him a pussy, and proceeded on my way. But I didn't feel good at all about this. I'm kind of lucky that he just kind of brushed me off, because I was starting to bring my foot up off my bike. It was one of those instances. I hate this because I haven't had one of these situations in months, if not years, where I've lost my temper. I've talked to you guys before about being in recovery. One of the hardest things about being in recovery is getting all my emotions back and feeling emotions again. And one of the hardest ones I've had to deal with is anger. The first year or two I was clean and sober, I would go flip into a rage, and just black out. My hands going numb. I would get just total loss of control of my rage, just out of nowhere. And it got better and better. I learned that, like the whole serenity prayer, that God, give me the serenity to accept the things I can't change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The things that people are going to do what they're going to do, and some people are going to act like a-holes. And that's what I should have thought. That's what I usually do. But just in this instance, the fact that he just went out of his way, a person I didn't know just went out of his way just to screw with me, and the fact that I'm big, and I was thinking, I'm bigger, who do you think you're messing with? That's what I was thinking in my head. But I should have done better than that. I don't know what this guy went through. I don't know. I don't know if maybe something happened to him. Maybe somebody screwed with him just before that. I don't know. And he's obviously got some kind of issues, and me getting all angry, I didn't feel good about it. I should have had control. I should have just walked away and let it go. It was almost instantaneous, though, and that's what really bothered me. I didn't even have time to think about it before that rage just hit me, and I just honestly, what was going through my head, I could see myself just going up to him and headbutting him right in the face. And it's a terrible thing. I didn't do that, but I still was. Now, after I rode my bike away, I felt even worse, because I started seeing other people. I bump into the same people on my rides, and all the people were all, "Hey, how you doing?" And this one woman calls me Legs, because the shorts or whatever, and she's like, "Hey," so I see all these other people, and they're all being so nice, and it just made me feel even worse for losing control like that. Now, something, I don't know how this connects, but this was weird. Right after that, too, we have these little parakeets here in Connecticut. These are the brightly colored little parakeets, little birds that were not indigenous to here, but I think they came from Puerto Rico. But they're all over the place now. They nest up in the telephone poles. And I was riding my bike, and one landed up in front of me. And then I realized it landed there, but there was a flattened out parakeet right there, and this little parakeet was coming to see its mate that had just been killed, and it was flattened out. And I'm biking up to it, and it gets scared because it sees me biking up, and it flies out and almost gets hit in traffic. I don't know how that all connects, but it was just, I felt even worse. I was like, oh my God, if that parakeet had just gotten hit by that car because of me, after going to see its little mate all squished in the road, that would have made me feel even worse. Just some odd occurrences that have happened to me. I really wish I could have done better today and not gotten so angry and just let it go. But sometimes, this was just out of the blue. Just somebody just going out of their way to intentionally and blatantly screw with me. And sometimes that happens, and it's really is best just to let it go. I can't control how people are going to act. People are going to do what they're going to do, and I don't know why they do it, and it's not helpful to me or anybody to interfere or to get angry. I should just let it go. So, just some weird occurrences I wanted to share with you. Have a good Thursday. Here we go. Here's a little visual aid. This is the exact spot I was coming. See my bike right there? So I'm coming here. I'm pedaling up this way. I'm on this side. He's walking down here. He's walking down this way. Every time I moved that way, he just kept walking towards me. Like walking straight towards my bike until it got to the point where my foot actually slipped off. And he literally brushed his shoulders with me, smiling and dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Like there's not a care in the world. What do you do in a situation like that? Really, it's hard to ignore.